In this episode, we're going to talk about how the difference between ordinary and extraordinary is that little extra. Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Positivity Powerhouse Podcast. I'm Kriss, and I'll be your Positivity Powerhouse today, tomorrow, whenever. But it's going to be me, because you're stuck with me. Today's message from the wall is the difference between ordinary and extraordinary is that little extra. And if you've known me for more than about 5 years, you know that I grew up in a football town, in a football family. I was a football fan. I wanted to play football. When I couldn't play football, I joined the marching band, so I was at every game anyway, for free, got free food, got great seats, got to play the flute and the piccolo, and it was awesome, except for, those games where they had to scrape 3 feet of snow off the field with, bulldozers or something, whatever you use to move large amounts of snow off of a grassy field. And when I played the flute, condensation from my breath froze in the mouthpiece of my flute. So I had to go and run it under hot water in the bathroom before halftime so I could still be able to play. Didn't enjoy that game so much, but the rest of them were great. Well, maybe not the rainy ones or the ones where it was sleeting. Always fun to play when it's sleeting, to be outdoors in a band uniform and a jacket and playing the flute with sleet blowing in your face. So maybe the marching band isn't so much fun. Football would have been great, though. Would have loved that, because you're on the field and you're beating up on people and it's legal. Sometimes you need that angst relief when you're a teenager. You just really need to beat up on something. And it's either going to be like yourself or that kid from the other school that you're never going to see again and who you really don't care about because the other team is the enemy and we got to beat the enemy and we got to crush them and kill them and destroy them and beat them good and, all the football-y things that people say about football. But I grew up a football fan. So if you've been a football fan ever, you probably know who Jimmy Johnson is before I even have to tell you who he is. Jimmy Johnson is a former pro football coach. He's an NFL commentator, and he's an inductee in the NFL Hall of Fame. He is a big freaking football deal. He is the man. He is great. And he said that the difference between ordinary and extraordinary is that little extra. Because if you don't see the words written down, you don't realize that extraordinary has that A in there to make it extraordinary. Just in case you had never seen it written down. There are words like that. Don't judge me. And it kind of reminds me, there was this movie that came out in 2006 called Facing the Giants. And for the most part, I hated the movie. I really hated the movie. I hated the movie. Critics hated the movie. Lots and lots of people hated the movie. It was just a bad movie. But there was this one scene called the death crawl scene. You can find it on YouTube. Just search for death crawl Facing the Giants YouTube, and you will find this scene. And the coach is, chewing out this kid who's the quarterback, who's supposed to be a leader of the team captain, whoever the heck he is, and wants him to do a death crawl with his buddy on his back. Basically what it is that, you get down on all fours Your knees can't touch the ground. It's hand, hand, foot, foot. And I don't know why I'm doing foot, foot under the desk. You can't see it. All you can see is hand, hand, foot, foot. And your buddy lays on your back and hooks his arms around your arms so that he doesn't fall off. He's just kind of, hanging out there on your back to add this extra weight. And then the coach puts a blindfold on him because he says, look, you don't need to know how far you've gone. I'll tell you when you've gone far enough. And the guy's like, well, I can't do more than about 20 yards or 30 yards or whatever it is he says. And the coach says, well, I bet you can do more than that. I bet you can go further than that. So he gets down and he gets his buddy on his back. Coach blindfolds him so he can't see how far he's going. And then he starts going. And he keeps going. And he keeps going. And he starts yelling about how it hurts and he can't do it anymore. And it hurts and he can't do it anymore. And it hurts and he can't do it anymore. And you get the idea. And he can't do it anymore. And coach keeps saying, you can do it. You can do it. You can do it. You've come so far. You're so close. Just a little further. Just a little further. You can do it. Dig deep. You can do it. You got this. And dude finally collapses and takes the blindfold off. No, he collapses and the coach says, take the blindfold off. You're in the end zone. And he had started in the opposite end zone. Now, if you're not a football person, you may not know this, but from end zone to end zone, it's 100 yards. And that's really freaking far to crawl on your hands and feet, no knees, with your buddy on your back. I mean, it's far to crawl on your hands and feet anyway, without your buddy on your back, but with your, 140-pound friend on your back, really big deal. So it was just that little extra of the blindfold and the coach encouraging him that meant he made it more than twice as far as he thought he was going to be able to do in the first place. So there's a lesson there. Just stick your head down and do what you're doing and you'll get there. Don't stop when you think you can't do anymore. I've got vision boards up on the walls up here above my desk, and there's one right there that says, stop at nothing except bedtime. And I take that very literally. I start working when I wake up, and I don't stop until I go to bed. So there. All right, so how does it impact the triple M's of mood, mindset, and motivation? 3 M's. For mood, it makes me feel hopeful that I can do that little extra and get that little further, that I can make it to the other end zone. It makes me feel eager to go and do it, to go and put in that little extra. It makes me feel unflagging, and it makes me feel aspirant, like I am aspiring to greatness when I aspire to go that little extra, to do that little extra, to be that little extra. For mindset, solidly on the bright side, totally on the bright side. I can do anything because it's the bright side. Always look on the bright side of life. I don't know the melody of the song, but there's a song that says, always look on the bright side of life. It's from, I want to say it's from the musical Camelot, but I won't swear to that. It could be a Monty Python thing. Maybe one or the other. I'm not sure which. But it definitely makes me feel like I want to stay on the bright side, like I am on the bright side, because oh my gosh, look at what I could do if I just put in that little extra, if I put in that little extra oomph, if I put in that little extra, I'm going to put a blindfold on and keep going anyway. If I forget that I can only walk 5 feet without falling over, maybe this time I can walk 6 or 7 or 8 or 10. Maybe with a physical therapist behind me holding onto a gait belt and walker in front of me that I can cling on to, maybe I can even make it 15 instead of just 5, because I've done that. How amazing is that? I mean, you might be thinking, well, duh, because everybody can, like, walk. Well, most everybody can walk, but I'm one of the ones that, like, can't. So it's a big deal for me to be able to walk, you know, more than 5 feet at a time. Big deal. Huge. Massive. You can't see where my hands are right here, but they're out there at the ends of my arms, way out there. And it makes me feel zealous. Like I want to be a zealot for my own achievement on the bright side by putting in that little extra, by giving that little extra. I want to be I don't know, an auto zealot. Is that what one would call a zealot for oneself? I don't know. Motivation. See, this is where it gets a little interesting for me. I used to be a part of a direct sales company that sold skincare and color cosmetics. I know, you can totally tell, right? I mean, if I Vogue, you can tell I used to sell skincare and color cosmetics. Yeah, you totally can't tell. It's okay. But one thing that they talked about was that, you know, you should go the extra mile for your customer. You should take that extra step. There's no traffic jams on the extra mile, you know, things like that. You've always heard that. And that always troubled me because I don't believe in going the extra mile. I think everything is the extra mile. That, you know, in that type of setting, it's not you go the extra mile for your customer, you just do a superlative job of caring for your customer, and that's what you do every time. That's not going the extra mile because it all is the extra mile. It's just what you do, period. You take care of what's important to you. And it applies in life as well, in, you know, in your self-improvement, in your personal development. There's no such thing as the extra mile. You take care of what's important to you, who's important to you, because you are the most important person in your life. I know you're going to try and tell me that your kids are the most important people in your life, or that your spouse is the most important person in your life, or that the Lord is the most important in your life. And I'm here to tell you that you are wrong. You are the most important person in your life. Here's the hint. Your life. Not your husband's life, not your kid's life, not your Lord's life, your life. You are the most important in your life. So that's who you have to take care of. That's who's important to you. It's you. You are important to you. So you should believe in the extra mile for yourself. Full stop. You want to be bold. You want to be audacious, and you want to win the day for you by going that little extra to be extraordinary. Catch you next time. Want more great content? Head on over to positivitypowerhouse.com for 4 main reasons. You know me and my lists. First, you'll find more episodes of the Positivity Powerhouse podcast just waiting for you to devour, either with audio, video, or the transcript, depending on your preferences. Second, you can read the blog. I spend a lot of time writing these great blog posts and then hemming and hawing over whether anybody's ever reading them, so go read them, okay? Third, you'll find out all the great ways you can work with me as your mindset and motivation coach. And fourth, you can join the email list where you'll find out all the newest details about the first 3 options on the list. So what are you waiting for? Turn me off already. Go hit up positivitypowerhouse.com. See you next time.